Hello kids, today we will study social science, introduction to social science. In social science, it is a subject where we understand about the past, the history, what has happened, what kind of people were staying before our birth, what kind of food, what kind of clothes, what kind of language they used to have, and what kind of lifestyle our ancestors used to live. So let us try to understand what this chapter has for us. So let us go through the objectives of this chapter. The main objectives of these chapters are: establish that study of social science includes discipline like history, geography, economics, political science and sociology. Appreciate that all these subjects areas are interconnected and together form the knowledge mass of social science. Discuss the different stages through which man's society evolved and identify opportunities and challenges of our present day society. And next is social science as an academic discipline. As the name itself suggests, social science is concerned about society. It aims at understanding all aspects of society as well as finding solutions to deal with social problems. So social science is nothing but it is a basic study about the society, how, why, when, who. There are so many questions which arises in this. So this is a broad area of knowledge that includes several different disciplines under this domain. So the main focus what we'll be having it on is history, geography, economics, political science and sociology. So let us go through the chapter and see what we have in the chapter. The various modules and units of its courses social science are connected with this very subject. In this unit, we will try to understand the discipline of social science, especially history. We will understand the importance of studying social science and how closely it is related to our lives. We will see how as human beings we have gone through several stages to evolve from when we lived in caves to today's modern world of cities. We will read about history not simply as a set of facts about our past but also learn from them. Social science also helps us to acquire a capacity to make interconnections between various subjects. We will learn to draw linkages between events and processes of development across the times. This will help us to draw connections between our past, present and future. Let us study more about these subjects to understand their impact on our lives. Sorry. So, as I told you, social science is a subject where we will be studying about the past, what all things were there and how they used to live in the caves and how we have come to this modern city, the modern world, what we are staying with luxurious houses which is built. So what kind of things have been having? We have gone through lots of stages, from stone stage and the modern stage, and so many things we have faced. So today what we are is because of there are many actions which has happened in the past, many things have happened. We have overcome that particular situations and today we are at this modern society. So let us understand the further details about it. Study of social science. An academic discipline or field of study is a branch of knowledge that is taught at various levels of education and research. At university level, any field of study has several sub-disciplines or branches. This may at times overlap some important branches or sub-disciplines of social science or economics, history or ecology, geography, political science and sociology. You would be surprised to know that in the beginning there was only one discipline, philosophy. Philosophy means love for wisdom or knowledge. That is why even now the highest degree in any subject is PhD, Doctor of Philosophy. Later, when knowledge started increasing and expanding, a need was felt to classify knowledge into different disciplines. Since science and social science came to be differentiated, Both refer to different aspects of our reality. Environment science deals with knowledge, reading the nature and physical world. Social science, on the other hand, deals with knowledge concerned with all aspects of society and human beings themselves. Let us begin with history. So, as I told you, it is social science is a study about discipline, branch of knowledge taught at various levels at the institutes like schools, colleges, and research universities. And here we have several subdisciplines or branches. This may at times overlap some important branches or subdisciplines of social science that are like economics, history, archaeology, political science, geography, or sociology. And this particular study is known as philosophy, and today, even now, it is called as, the highest degree is called as PhD, that is Doctor of Philosophy. Philosophy means love for wisdom or knowledge. A person who is so in depth crazy, or who is so in depth love to know what is happening around and to acquire more knowledge. So that particular degree is called as, they have got many specializations like PhD in philosophy, PhD in economics, PhD in sociology, PhD in psychology. There are many streams in this particular thing where a person who has acquired the degree in that particular thing is called as the doctor of that particular theme or a branch or a discipline. So let us go ahead and study the next thing, that is history and archaeology. History and archaeology. What is history? History is an account of events that have happened in the past. So as I told you earlier, history is a particular subject where we study about the past, what has happened, how our human existence was brought in, how we were considered to be as a living being, from where are our roots, what kind of things we have done or our ancestors have lived, from caves, how we became rich, how we became, like how we differentiated man, woman, and all those things. It comes under this particular subject called history and archaeology. So I'll just read it for you, listen to it carefully. It is about the real people and the real things. It does not deal with mere ideas and ideas or what should have been. On the other hand, it is study of what has been. History does not deal with individuals alone. It is concerned with nations and societies. It is not limited to kingdoms and kings, but all human beings. It includes all men and women, rich and poor, irrespective of their background in terms of religion, caste, etc. Have you ever wondered how and what happened to our ancestors in ancient times? You will learn about them in this book. While going through this course, note down all the events which seem interesting to you. Go to the library and search the internet to see if you can get more information on them. We will also help you in your search for more knowledge. Next thing is, what do we study? Why do we study history? The study of history helps us to know our roots, strengths and achievements, and gives us a sense of pride as well as direction. What we call progress would be non-existent if we do not have proper knowledge and understanding of our past. There is a general belief that history deals with the past, which we think is dead. In reality, our past has important lessons for the present and the future. History records this legacy that has an important bearing on our lives. In essence, history relates the story of cooperative actions of a large number of men and women in their quest for a better life. When we think of how we can know about our past, we get connected to archaeology. Often this past activities and achievements bring a sense of pride. Let us keep them safe for our future generations. So why do we study history? Is to understand what kind of lives were there, what kind of achievements we have got, and how we have been connected to it. So what makes us to understand about the history is archaeology. So let us see what is archaeology. Archaeology is the study of the ancient times with respect to society and culture. The trace of those events can be found in material remains, that is, the artifacts, burials, ruined buildings, monuments, etc., and are studied by archaeologists. They interpret them to provide knowledge about the times to which these artifacts belong. The study of archaeology also includes the written records that are very ancient and cannot be easily deciphered or understood. These sources give more reliable and authentic information. So archaeology is nothing but about the past culture, how the society used to be there, what kind of culture they used to follow, and this one how we can come to know is about the artifacts, burials, ruined buildings, monuments, etc., which is studied by the archaeologists, a set of people who study only the past or very old and ancestral things. For example, Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal is at the time of 13th century or 15th century, which was built by Shah Jahan. Even today, we see that archaeology, and we make out that is made out of the Persian design, the Arabian design, and the Indian design. The material what was used to build that particular thing is of a very old. It's almost like centuries together. It is very old kind of material. So archaeologists do this particular research and give us the details, which also how we come to know is by the writing. The study of archaeology includes the written records that are very ancient and cannot be described or understood. See, there are certain languages what they used to use, which is very difficult for us to understand. So these people study this particular thing and give us the reliable information and authenticate the information that how old this particular place is or how old this particular monument is. So next thing is, most of the time such treasures are found buried underground and have to be dug out. This is called archaeological excavation. Mohenjo-daro, Harappa and Nalanda are some of well-known sites where excavation have been undertaken and valuable material found. Such excavations are found often carried out and reported in the newspapers. A very interesting recent discovery is that of the remains of a city found under the sea near Gujarat. It is believed to be Hindu god Krishna city. Dwarka, Rakhi Garhi in Haryana is another very recent excavation site. So here again the other way of understanding the archaeology is by we get the information about any kind of lost city or unexplored city by digging. And the best examples of this kind of cities are Mohenjo-daro, Harappa and Nalanda. There is a movie on Mohenjo-daro. If you want, you can look into that movie. Harappan civilization also was found during British rule, where they were trying to dig the road to put a railway track. And recently what they have found is a city near Gujarat that is to be believed God Krishna city Dwarka, and Rakhi Gari in Haryana is another very recent excavation site. A trip to such site will transfer you back to those times. You must visit such cities whenever you get an opportunity. Also find out more about such sites in other countries too. So what happens is, when you're going to this kind of research, or the countries or the cities which has been found or which has been dug out, so there they will leave the remains of that particular period, maybe the plates, the houses, what kind of clothes they used to use, what kind of utensils they used to use. All these things will be kept into a museum, or it will be kept over there for the people to discover and see the lifestyle of the past or the old ancestors. So it will be easy for you to go to that particular site and see and feel, which will take you back to those days. There are some people who are very imaginary people. Once they get any kind of things in front of them, they start imagining things according to their understanding. So what they are suggesting is, if possible, if you are able to find certain cities like that, please visit and experience the lives of those people in the real time, that is now. Archaeological sources also includes inscriptions, pillars, metal plates, coins, seals, monuments, tools, poetry, toys, pictures, etc. Works of art like paintings, sculptures, architecture, etc. tell us about the culture of particular period. Look around your city or town for a museum, or visit somebody's house which has collection of some of these items. Make a list and then try and find out which period they belong to. For this, you can search on the internet or visit a library to know more about them. Today, a lot of information can be got from books, magazines and newspapers. So what it says is, archaeology is not only about that particular monuments and things, it also inscription in the sense, on a stone, if you have visited any of the historical places, they write about that particular kingdom or the king, about the famous poets, or what kind of things were there, and everything will come under that particular thing. So pillars, metal plates, coins, seals, monuments, tools, poetry, toys, pictures, etc. These all are some of the examples of archaeological resources, how we can identify what kind of period they were encrypted, at what time they were brought into existence, all these things. So the best thing is, you can visit a museum close by which gives all these details to you, or you can visit anybody's house who is having a hobby of collecting the historical things and keeping, or you can visit the library and check out how and where these particular things can be found to explore and acquire knowledge. And one more thing is, whenever you are visiting a museum, you are being instructed not to get into the activities of destroying it or touching it, because everything matters for us. History, what we have collected from so many years of efforts, that has to be kept for the future generation also. We should not destroy them. Next is geography. Next topic is geography. The study of history and archaeology remains incomplete without knowing something about the geography of the area being studied. Geography is the study of the earth, landscape, people, place and environment. In simple terms, it is knowing about the world in which we live. Geography is unique in bridging the social science, human geography, with the natural science, physical geography. So you people know, geography means it is a physical appearance of any location or a person. It is about knowing how, where, when, what kind of atmosphere or what kind of environment a person is living in, what are their surrounding to him. Geography is basically a study of a physical appearance on the globe. If you want to locate a particular city, place, river, sea, dam, forest, anything, it can be found out by the study of geography. So here it says the study of history and archaeology remains incomplete without knowing something about the geography of the area being studied. So for studying the history and archaeology, geography is very important because we need to know which place that is there. For example, the geographical location of Taj Mahal is Agra. So we got to know geographically Agra is Taj Mahal is in Agra. Now when we go to Agra, we find Taj Mahal, and from Taj Mahal we will come to know the archaeology and the history about it. Archaeology in the sense what kind of inscriptions is being done, pillars and whatever the materials is being used to build that particular monument. We will get to know with the study of archaeology. And history, it gives us to it helps us to understand like who constructed this, why they constructed, what time it was constructed, from where the materials were bought, and so on examples. Okay. Geography plays an important role in shaping the life of history of any society. It helps us to recognize the difference in culture, political system, economical landscapes and environment across the world. It also helps us to establish links among them. Geography provides an ideal framework for relating to other fields of knowledge. If we know the geography of a country, we can understand what happened in history. In this lesson, you will read that early humans made bows, arrows and other small tools. It is from studying geography that you get to know why after Ice Age, changes in environment must have taken place. As a result, many dense forests might have become grassland. Can you imagine what must have happened? Yes, it led to a growing population of grass-eating animals like the deer, goat, sheep and the antelope. You also know that these animals can run fast, so hunting them was not easy with heavy weapons. These light stone weapons which the early humans had invented helped them in their survival. So we usually call it as Ice Age. After the Ice Age, where everything was considered to be an ice, after the breakage of Ice Age, there is a movie also, a cartoon movie, Ice Age. If you have time, you can just watch that. That's very much live on the lots of sources like Disney Plus, Hotstar and YouTube and all those things. So as I told you, geography is very important for us to understand what things were there in that particular period, how it was located. The location of that particular thing is really important for us. So what it says is, after Ice Age, there were lots of changes in the environment, where there were dense forests might have become grassland, and from that what happened, growing population of grass-eating animals like deer, goat, sheep and the antelope were brought into existence. They were existed in those times, and later, since these animals were very fast running, so for hunting it had become very difficult for people with the heavy weapons. So at that time they must have made lightweight weapons like bows, arrows and so many things, where they used to kill those animals and the human used to eat for their survival. Do you know that the Indo-Ganga plain is the most fertile land in India? This is because big river like the Ganga brings an abundant supply of fresh water for drinking and irrigation. It is why this land became the place for establishing big empires like those of the Mauryas, the Guptas and the Mughals. Availability of iron in abundance further helped in expansion of these empires. Can you guess why? You will learn more about this in lesson 4. So, Indo-Ganga plain is one of the location where this particular land is known to be the most purest land for irrigation, and plus since it is Ganga river, it used to get a fresh water for the people, which attracted many travelers to stay back over there and start establishing their empires. Now you must have studied in the past also. You have the Mauryas, the Guptas and the Mughals, and the available of iron helped the expansion of this empires in a huge way, and people started surviving over there and started to construct their empires. They started to fighting for the land, and so many things are there. As the chapters are going, we will study more about it. The third topic is government in a word, political science. Government in a word with which you are familiar. You often hear or read about it in the newspaper or on the television. Have you ever thought about what government is? Do you know the role it plays in our lives and the important things it does for the people? The government of a country makes laws, and everyone living in the country has to obey these laws. In democracy, it is the people who give power to the government when they elect them. In this way, people help the parliament of the country to make laws, while in a monarchy, it is the monarch or king, queen who has the powers to take decisions and enforce them. Social science also deals with how we are governed. It also helps us to understand the role of people like us in the running of nations and government. This discipline is called political science. So political science, to put it in very simple words for you, it is about people who are running the country. In political science, what happens? Politics. We are the people who are electing the government, a person who can take care of your needs and what kind of rules and regulations he is gonna make, and how you are gonna abolish those rules and regulations, or how you are gonna justify your decision of electing that particular person to rule over and make the rules and regulations for you to follow, and so on things will happen. But in the ancient days, in the history, it was a king, a queen who used to have the power to take decision for the people, for his kingdom. So here what happens is, in political science, social science and political science, or almost everything, it comes, since this is also related to the society, so it is coming under social science itself. Now let us see what the thing is. Social science also deals with how we are governed. We are governed by the government. So there is one particular person whom we have selected and who can rule on us, who can take decisions on our behalf, and that particular decision which is being taken or which is being governed has to be followed by every individual or every particular person of that particular country, state, city, etc. It also helps us to understand the role of people like us in the running of nations and government. This discipline is called political science. So it also helps us to understand the role of people, what kind of jobs they are doing, and how we have to follow the rules and regulations made by them. Political science is a social science concerned with the theory and practice of politics and the analysis of political system and political behavior. It tells us how the government is elected. Political scientists study the relationship between the political events and the conditions. They try to understand general principles about the way the world of politics works. It includes study on government, public policies, political process, system and political behavior. If you decide to study political science in senior secondary, you will learn more about political theory, political philosophy and political economy, which are the important branches of this subject. So here, as I told you, it gives us the entire hold and concern with the theory and the practice of politics and analyzing the political system and political behavior, which tells us how we can elect a government. Political studies studies the relationship between the political events and conditions, what kind of events are happening and how we have to follow and all those things. And then we try to understand general principles which is being made by the government and the way world of politics works, how it works actually. And it depends on what subjects you opt. If you opt for senior secondary political science, that is your PUC. PUC has got a subject by itself called political science. If you take that subject as a part of your syllabus, you will understand in detail about it. So what kind of things are there, how a government is elected, who is ruling, who is in the foot front, who is back foot, everything will be given in details to you. So political science is nothing but it's just about establishing a government, establishing the rules and regulations, what kind of behavior they will have, and how we are being asked to follow the rules and regulations set by the government, and how we are going to elect a person who is going to govern this laws for us or on behalf of us. Sociology. Sociology is yet another very important part of social science. It is the study of human behavior in social context. Sociology focuses on the study of human groups. Sociology comes from the Latin word sociology. It literally means that the study of companion. Sociology seeks to understand the structure of a society and how it works. It also seeks to define and understand the different factors that have shaped our society. This includes race, class, gender, culture, religion, belief system, and environment. Sociology also studies the way individual and group behaviors impact on the running of our society. So sociology is nothing but it is all about the society. What kind of people are there, what kind of culture we are following, what kind of religion we are following, what is the belief system of the government, and what kind of race or class or whatever the gender is there. No, it differentiate in sociology, and sociology comes from the Latin word called sociology. The spelling changes here. It is SOCIOLOGIE. Sociology. It literally means the study of companion. So it's all about a human study on their gender, on their culture, on their class, like their rich, they are poor, their religion, what kind of religion they belong to, and belief system and government. All these things impact on sociology. It is basically a clear study of society and people living in that. It's all about the study of human groups. The next thing is economics. Economics is one of your subject. Living in a society also means that we must know how to organize our lives. We must know how to economics or income, time and resource, because all of them are limited. So I'll put it in more simple words for you people. Economics is a study of income, expenditure, profit, loss, and all those things. It is a mixture of this particular thing where a person selects or chooses luxury or a profit or a budget, what kind of production it is happening, what kind of consumption, and what is the wealth. This includes everything about economics. Where money is included, there comes economics. All these subjects help us to understand how the entire process of human process and development take place. For this, let us go back into our past. Step by step, we will get to know about the evolution of human beings on this earth. Do you know that we study about evolution in science too, but over there we learn how evolution took place in nature, how plants and animals evolved. It is an interesting story of how the most highly evolved species, that is human beings, developed from less evolved animals. Do you know that the biological name of our species, human being, is Homo sapiens? We are going to read more about this Homo sapiens in the next section. So as I told you, economics is all about dealing with money and the human, what kind of choices he makes and all those things, which I have already explained in economics first chapter. So here what important thing you have to remember is that the human species is called as Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens. Now let us see what is the further we have about the evolution of human beings. Okay, the third topic is about evolution of human being. The first human like beings are believed to have emerged about 2 million years ago. They resemble apes. Biologists called them Homo sapiens, wise human beings in Latin. They did not know how to cultivate land and grow food, nor did they know how to build a house or shelter. They lived in caves or on treetops. Do you know the human beings had started living on earth much earlier than they learned to write? The invention of writing was an important landmark, as written records became the main source of our knowledge of the past. Do you know what is not recorded in writing is called prehistory? You will be surprised to know that the period of prehistory is much longer than the recorded time, which we term as history. So to reconstruct the life of prehistoric humans, historians and anthropologists studied tools, weapons, ornaments, cave dwellings and cave paintings made by our ancestors. History refers to that period of human evolution for which written records are available. Such writings are found on rocks, pillars, copper plates and more recent papers. So evolution of human began 2 million years ago. The biologists and they resemble the apes. Apes is like one of the species comes under the family of monkeys, gorilla, chimpanzee and all those things. Biologists call them Homo sapiens, wise human beings. It is in Latin. So these people didn't know how to cultivate the land or grow food, and nor they know how to build the houses or for the shelter. So they lived in caves and treetops, and the history which we do not find any written records, we call it as prehistory. Prehistory is before the evidence of writing what was there now, that is called prehistory. And this particular prehistory is much longer than the recorded time. So it is very old than the recorded of the history what we found now. More than that, it was the prehistory. So the reconstruct of life in prehistorical humans, historians and anthropologists study tools. So they started finding the ornaments, weapons, caves, cave paintings and all those things, so which gives us a knowledge about this particular thing, how old this evolution could be there of a human being on this earth. Such writings are found on rocks, pillars and after that we started finding some people used to scrap certain things on the thing, that is like they found a rock pillar, copper plates and more recently was a paper. The last what they could find was it was a paper. That was the thing which was found last in the after the prehistorical period in the evolution of human being. Now let us see what are those ages where human started its evolution. It is called nomadic life, the Stone Age. The primitive human beings were nomads. They kept moving from one place to another in search of food from the environment. They moved in groups to ensure safety from wild animals, for society security and for companionship. They also started making tools with stones, so we call that period in human evolution as the Stone Age. In each stage, human beings used stones as implements which were better than the earlier ones. This helped them to progress to a better, safer life. It had the following main stages. So, it is called as the nomadic life or the Stone Age. In this particular duration, humans, what they used to do is they kept on moving from one place to another place in search of food and environment. They moved in groups so that they are safe from the wild animals, for social security and for companionship. So one person cannot travel such a long distance alone. So for companions, somebody is there to talk to them, or somebody is there to help them, somebody is there to cook food for them, and so many things. And during this particular movement from one place to another place, they started evolving a lot of things, like they started founding stones which they started to make or converted into tools to kill the animals. And since they started to make things at that particular age with stone, so that particular time is recorded in the history as Stone Age. And as they were moving, they started progressing for the better and safer life. And it has got certain following main stages also. Let us see what are those main stages. Okay, Stone Age has got 3 different Stone Ages. So the first Stone Age is called as the Old Stone Age, Paleolithic Age, that is unit 10, 100,000, 10,000, lakh, 5 lakh BC to 10,000 BC. The second one is the Middle Stone Age, Mesolithic Age, 10,000 BC to 8,000 BC. Third one is the New Stone Age, Neolithic Age, 8,000 to 4,000 BC. What I will do is, I will take a photo of this particular Stone Ages and send it to you on WhatsApp. Go through it, read it, and if you have any doubts, you ask me on the WhatsApp. So for now, I will end this chapter here. In the next class, I will continue with the further chapter. Thank you.